back, and welcome to another episodes of Dude's Midnight Podcast.
It just reminded me of a really funny joke.
What joke, Kike?
Don't worry about it.
Don't be fucking shit up, Kike. We're barely gonna start, alright?
Alright, cool.
We're back, motherfuckers. It's a full moon, and we're bringing you once a month this podcast where we talk about crazy conspiracies and oddities. And previously, back in the day, we used to talk about government pedophiles in the government, but we're not allowed to do that anymore, apparently, because we got a first strike on our channel. So we're only
in China.
Yeah. It's all right. They're already here, Kike. They're already here. So today, we're gonna talk about giants. Oh, yeah, Kike. Before I get going, I just ask you one serious question, Kike. You don't start giving me all these examples, because we're gonna talk about examples. I just want a yes or no, simple fucking maybe 2 sentences and shit. Respond.
Yeah.
All right. Do you believe in giants? Do you think they were real?
They are real. I have one in my family.
Well, yeah, you're right, Kike. Your family's pretty tall. Never mind. Kike's already a half-breed, so he knows. But we're gonna start in the beginning. And always in the beginning comes the great Jehovah, the great God of the Jews. All right? And back then in the day, it came to pass that... Shit. We're sorry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, Kike. Everything's fine. Back then, and it came to pass, we had the Bible was created. Nobody saw it done, but it was done, and now it made into a book, and everybody has it. So we're gonna get to the first mention of giants in recorded human history. Possibly. I don't know. I might be lying on that. But here we go. Genesis chapter 6. Verse 1.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them.
Yeah. So what do you think, Kike? They talked about how there was giants in the days because the sons of God saw the daughters of men. They fucked them. They gave birth to giants, Kike.
Yeah. That's in the Bible. I read it.
There's the first book, the first Genesis, the creation and shit. They said that's why God needed to do the flood, Kike, to destroy these abominations, and that were eating people. They were cannibals. They would eat a lot of fucking other people and shit. Those are the legends, and they say that, Kike.
What do you think happened? I mean, you think the women were like, oh shit, they're big. They're gonna protect us.
They have big dicks.
I guess size does matter, huh?
It really does. Even back then, people don't understand. That's why, like, nowadays there's like pills, and there's like these like surgeries you can do, and they extend your fucking dick. The problem is that because now you have to pump more blood to your dick, you make your heart work faster, and then fucking you get congestive heart failure. And that's why these motherfuckers who like these fat motherfuckers who got like big dicks, they die because of heart failure.
Surprise you gotta take if you want a big girthy one.
Yeah, you die young.
Yeah. But happy.
That's true. Do you think that the Bible talking about the angels fucking women made giants? You think that could be the origin of giants, Kike?
I mean, could be. I mean, do you think the Bible thinks that the Anunnaki were angels? Do you think that maybe
Yes.
it's like aliens that came down to this place and they thought, oh, they're angels because they came from the sky, you know, and they're huge?
Yeah.
And they were like the ones that are like, oh, check it out. Like, we make humans. Look at us. Hey, come here. I'm famous. Fuck me.
Yeah. I think exactly that, actually.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But
They're
there's
like, oh, check it out. The monkeys look pretty hot now.
we made they grow boobs and fucking some of them even shave. That's fucking
Yeah,
cool.
and they're tiny. We can carry them.
Yeah. They don't worry. You got a nice grip. Kike. yeah. But anyways, they mention a lot of times in the Bible, not just in the beginning and shit. A lot of times the giants are mentioned in the Bible, and just like in Numbers, Kike. Here's a passage. I'm gonna have this guy read it for us again because if I read it, we never finished. But here we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this. Here we go.
And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were.
And so, I know these stories. This actually takes place, Kike, after the Jews and Moses saved the Jews from Egypt. And they were in the wilderness looking for 40 years trying to find shit. And they got to this place and shit. And they sent scouts to go look to see if there's like good plants we can eat and sheep and shit, like so we can settle. And they went and they came back and they said, yeah, there's a lot of fucking fruit here and there's a lot of fucking water and there's like we can eat and shit. We can live here. And he goes, but the people that live all around us, they're huge. Like next to them, we look like grasshoppers. We can't fucking stop them. And Moses, there's the rest of the story because I know it. Moses told those motherfuckers, hey, God's on our side and he told me to go and fight them and you will win. And they did, and they killed all the giants, bro. The Jews, according to the Bible, killed all the giants, and that's why over there in the Middle East, there's no more left.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they killed all of them. They killed all of them
I wonder
from the
how
land.
they killed them if they were like, hungry. They didn't have any food. They were like probably didn't
Well,
have
it's
any
because they're
fucking
small,
health.
dude. Think about it. Like, you've seen colonies of bees and ants kill people.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's just a matter of like gaining advantage.
Numbers.
They could be asleep, and then all of a sudden, all these things come at you and shit. All they gotta do is poke you with a spear right in your throat, and you're dead.
Yeah, they'll multiply pretty fast, man.
Yeah, they fuck a lot. Back then, there was no condoms, and people didn't know about pulling out and shit.
Okay, that's another story, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And of course, the most famous, the fucking giant of, and the most famous giant of all, Goliath, Kike. From David and Goliath, King David, who fucking slew Goliath when he was a little boy and shit. He fucked him up. He was supposed to be, from legend, they say, he was supposed to be anywhere from 10 to 12 feet tall, and that he was a descendant from the sons of Ram, the Raphaim, which was a tribe that the Jews completely destroyed when they moved into the land.
Wow.
So
So
this
this
guy-
guy really pissed.
Yeah, he was the last one of his bloodline. 10, 12 feet tall. You think he was real?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's in the books.
Well, yeah, well, a lot of stuff's in the books, and people don't know if it's real or not.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff is in the books, but sometimes, like you, for example, like there's a lot of stuff about dragons in all cultures, and we are supposed to say that didn't exist, although everyone saw a dragon back in the day. So, it could be real. I don't know.
Well, it could be real, but then like we gotta talk more about like more evidence, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Since we're gonna stick right now to the Middle East. But since we're talking about the giants over there in the Middle East and over there with the Jews killing them all, okay, there is they call them the Baalbek stones. The stones. There's these stones, Kike. There's about 6 or like 10 or 12 of them. I don't know how many. I didn't do my research, but there's a lot of them, and they're huge, and they're like big Lego blocks, like rectangles, and they're fucking humongous. They weigh about 800 tons each, and they like 20 meters, and I actually did the research at 65 feet in American, 65 feet long, and they weigh 800 tons and shit. And that some of them are actually put on a base for a temple that was built before as a foundation, a temple that wasn't there anymore. And then when the fucking the Romans came there, they built the temple of Jupiter on top of the base because the base was already there. And nobody knows how the fuck those stones were moved thousands of years ago.
No, Shan. Well,
yeah.
There's this one guy, Graham Hancock. That guy talks about a lot of the stuff that we probably lost history from, We probably don't know what happened before, like the Egyptians and, the pyramids were there before that too. So who knows? Maybe there was a bunch of giants living before us.
And they build like these structures that no longer there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in the Middle East, Kike, there's a story within the Army Corps.
Oh yeah.
The story comes out, and this is like a lot of people claim this is real, Kike. They say this is a real thing that happened. The story of the red-headed ginger giant of Afghanistan. The whitest motherfucker on earth lived over there in the Brown Mountains, Kike.
Interesting.
So,
man, he could have lived in Ireland and be an MMA fighter.
Well, here's what they say happened. It was 2002. An army infantry unit disappeared. They were doing an expedition in Kandahar Mountains in Afghanistan. And they lost contact. The base was calling them, and they wouldn't reply back, and the radio was off, and they didn't know what the fuck. So the army was freaked out. They thought maybe the Taliban caught these motherfuckers. They're torturing them right now, and they're gonna say all the secrets. We need to go get these motherfuckers. And so they assembled the Green Berets, and that's the elite unit in the army, bro. That's like the Navy SEALs of the army, the Green Berets. And they set these motherfuckers up to go look for the missing team. And they said they went up the trail. There was this trail up a mountain, and it was like one of these like goat trails. These motherfuckers herd goats and milks, and that's how they make their money over there. And then they get their food and shit. And so they build these trails going up the mountain. I don't know why the fuck they take all the goats up the mountain. Fucking useless if you ask me. But he takes them out to the mountains. And so they're following these trails, and the trails ends up at the end, and there's like a cave, like an opening and shit. And there's all these bones scattered all outside over there in the fucking dirt and shit. And they're freaked out. And then,
what kind of bones?
Well, they looked human. They say they looked human.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And they say that all of a sudden, as they were walking towards to go see the cave, a big spear came out of the cave, like flying, and he hit one of the guys like that, and the guy was fucking died instantly. And then all of a sudden, this crazy 12-foot tall giant, bro. This huge motherfucker, 12 feet tall. And they described him as having red hair and a red beard. He was dirty. He had animal skin clothing, like if he had a big, camel that he skinned and he made into a shirt or a little skirt or whatever. He was all dirty. And he was carrying a shield, like a really old shield.
Oh.
And he was yelling and screaming, and they didn't understand what the fuck he was saying. And he went to fucking grab the spear out of the guy that he killed, I guess to kill the other ones. And right away, everybody started fucking him up. And they right away, the soldiers realized he's not going down. So one of them yelled, switch to his head. And everybody at the same time shot to his head. And boom, they got him down. Because he wasn't going down and shit. They thought he was gonna kill someone else and shit. They said that they didn't know what the fuck they did, so they called it in and they said, what happened? They said, well, we ran into this human-like creature and we killed him. And the army told them, stay where you are, give us your coordinates, we're gonna send 2 helicopters and shit. And they sent 2 helicopters to go pick them up. And they said, describe the guy, the being that he smelled disgusting because he was dirty. I didn't fucking take a shower or nothing. And he had 6 fingers on each hands and 6 toes. And he had 2 rows of teeth.
Ugh.
Like the regular teeth, and then behind it, another row, like in the back, like growing. It was weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the helicopters got there. And they told them to help to put the fucking damn thing in a net to pull him into the helicopter. And the soldiers got into a second helicopter. And they said the helicopter with the fucking the giant, we don't know where it went to. We went to back to the base, and they made us all sign a thing, and they told us that nothing ever happened.
Damn. You know, I've heard of stuff like that too. Not in that great detail, but yeah, I've heard of like some soldiers talking about going into caves and hearing weird sounds in caves, and that's as much as I can say. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. I don't believe in much, but when someone that has experience like that tells me a story like that, I'd be like, are you really fucking with me, or is that real? And they're like, I don't know, man. It was real, bro. I don't know.
They're real, Kike. But there's more legends all over the world, Kike, because now we're coming back. We're traveling across the seas and coming to America. Wow. And in America, Kike, the Native Americans, Kike, the originals, the fucking Asians that came all the way over here and then say they're Americans, but they're actually Asians. They traveled through the bridge over there in the ice and shit. Yeah. Well, they came over here and they had giants in the Nevada deserts and over there in the Utahs and shit. And they say they called the giants the Siteka. Yeah. That's what they called them, the Sitekas. They said that they were 12 feet tall and they had red hair and beards and shit, and they were cannibals. And they used to like go in the middle of the night when the Indians were asleep and shit, and they come and take them. And then take them back to their caves and like fucking eat them and shit. They were cannibals, Kike.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and after so many attacks and harassments and discrimination against them, they finally said, we need to go talk to all the tribes. And just like in Avatar Way of the Water, they went to another tribes and they talked to them and they told them, we all got to band together. We're all brothers. We're all like, you're green, I'm blue. There's purple motherfuckers over here and some red guys. But don't worry, we're all the same people. We need to band together and we need to kill these fucking giants. And they all said, yeah. And so they went to the caves where they lived and shit, and they all bought a bunch of wood and they built a fire, and right in front of the cave entrance, and they kept feeding the fire, and the ones that would come out, they would kill right away, and the ones that stayed in there suffocated from the smoke. And that's how they got rid of the giants back in the day.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. And then they said that the tribes, after all the giants, the Sitekas were dead, Kike, that they mummified, like they wrapped them like mummies, because they used to like burn them, but they just buried them in that cave and they buried them. And that there was a guy in 1886, Kike, this rich miner, and he heard this legend and he went and talked to some of the local tribes and they took him to the cave, and the cave's a real life cave, Kike. It's called Lovelock Cave. And they went there, and when he went in there, he was kind of mad because they found a cave, and but there was nothing there but a mountain of bad shit. Guano, yeah. And then this guy's all like, well, god damn it, like I went a wild goose chase, there's no fucking giant skeletons here. And he goes, but wait a minute, there's a lot of shit here. I can make money with fertilizer. And so he started mining the cave for fertilizer. He became rich, a millionaire and shit, with the bat guano. But while they were excavating the bat guano, they found 60, a total of about around estimated 60 mummies. And they were all about 6 to 8 feet tall. And they had red hair.
Interesting how they all had red hair.
Yeah. And right now, Disney's trying to cancel all the gingers. They don't want the Little Mermaid to be a little ginger girl. And they don't want fucking, I don't remember who else they canceled. They don't want the gingers.
They don't like that. Do you think that's the myth behind they don't have souls?
That they're giants. They're the ones. They're the Nephilim.
Discriminating against the
gingers have the
gingers
Nephilim
nowadays.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks for them.
Yeah. And like throughout here in America, Kike, throughout the 1800s, there's tons of reports and newspaper reports, and the newspaper was real because those are real journalists and shit, not like the bullshit you read on YouTube like us and shit. I'm talking about like the newspaper you buy at the store. Nobody goes out there and buys the real news anymore. They fucking go and watch YouTube and watch a bunch of dumb motherfuckers like us talk about shit.
Yeah, TikTok is my addiction.
Yeah. But there's tons of newspapers in the 1800s Kike, about skeletons, giant skeletons find all over the U.S. because people were digging their backyards thinking they're gonna find gold or some bullshit, some buried treasure from Treasure Island. So a bunch of dumbasses back then, and they were finding fucking skeletons of like giants, 10 feet tall, 12 feet tall, and the skulls had 2 rows of teeth. And this is in the newspapers. And of course, all the skeletons and evidence has since been confiscated by the United States government.
Dun dun dun.
Cause that's how the government works. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? It'd be interesting why they would be hiding this kind of stuff. You know, what was their reasoning to hiding this kind of stuff?
Yeah, people hiding stuff, and then like if you try to say something, they kill you. You want to know why? Because it actually happened to some people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kike. Let me tell you something about right here. None other than Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln. If you go to his library, the Abraham Lincoln Library over there in the fucking DC or wherever the fuck it is, I don't even know because I don't pay attention in class and shit. Wherever it is, there's a library and they have all his recorded speeches and all the shit he wrote down and shit. All like when he was on the toilet, he was thinking about fucking cartoons and he wrote on a piece of paper. It's there in the fucking library. You can find it. But there's a fragment. There's a whole speech that he was gonna give at Niagara Falls, and they told him like, no, you should choose because they write several speeches and you should read this one instead. And he read a different one, but this is a copy of one that was actually there and shit. And I got just a small piece of it towards the middle. But I'll read it to you because I don't have nobody reading it. I don't have like Abraham Lincoln right here and shit. Like,
war score 7 years ago.
Yeah. When Columbus first sought this continent, he says, when Christ suffered on the cross, when Moses led Israel through the Red Sea, even when Adam first came from the hand of his maker, then as now, Niagara Falls was still here. The eyes of that species of extinct giants, whose bones fill the mountains of America, have gazed on Niagara Falls as ours do now.
Well, you know, some people would say, well, it's metaphorical. He was thinking that most people here are giants because they're great. You know, something like that. That's pretty fucking specific that he says, like, filled with bones of giants. That's pretty fucked up.
It's very specific. You know, the bones that fill the mounds of America. Now they say there's a rumor that's saying the reason why we can't find a lot of these bones and shit is that a lot of the bones that were confiscated and excavated in the 1800s that the government ordered because they would build mounds for cities and shit like that, and that they just put them all there. They crushed them and put them all there into mounds, covered them.
It creates great mulch, I see, you see?
Yeah, no one will ever find the truth.
Interesting. It's almost like when they found a bunch of like mammoth tusks and they just drowned, like they just threw them on a river in New York. They're just like, we have a lot of them. Just fuck it. and now they're finding them nowadays. They're like, oh, there is fucking stuff in here. Crazy.
Yeah. That's a lot. Like, do you think there's always been a conspiracy, not just in America, in the world, to hide giants?
I don't know if they're hiding them. I just think a lot of people forget about their history, and not a lot of people bother to go back and research, or like there not a lot of people are interested in history.
Well, there's giants not just in America, but all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kike. Like the mysterious fucking legends of the Greek world. You know the legends of Zeus? And all that shit they say about Zeus and the gods. They fought the Titans. And the Titans were giants, these giant monsters. And they said that their father was Kronos. Kronos gave birth to the gods, but Kronos also had the Titans and shit. And so Kronos ate Zeus, and the other gods helped Zeus escape his father's belly, and then defeat him, and locked them all up. They locked up the fucking giants, and that's always been an allegory to me about the fallen angels, Kike. The fallen angels are Kronos and the Titans, but who are the gods? The humans that took over?
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's an old legend. Nobody knows, but it's just an old legend. But I'll tell you something that somebody does know. All the way in China. This is why you need to start learning some Mandarin, Kike.
Ni hao.
There's a one thing they call the Longshan giant. Yeah.
Jay Leno.
Yeah. No, it's not long. Fuck you. Why get Jay Leno?
Yeah, he's not a giant. I just realized, but he has a long chin.
Shen.
Oh, Chan. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. The Chinese. Stop being a racist. Jay Leno could never be Chinese. That motherfucker's got a big head. Yeah. Anyways, the Longshan giant was found in 2006, Kike, in China. And they estimated being at least 4,000 years old to the Longshan dynasty, which is why they called it the Longshan giant. And they say this skeleton is about 16 to maybe 18 years of age, is a young man. The skull had 3 holes in the back of it, probably where they drain the brain and stem and all that shit. I don't know, I'm just guessing. And his height was 6 feet 3 inches, the tallest Chinese Asian man ever recorded in their history.
Interesting.
A skeleton they found is their fucking tallest man.
Yeah, and now we find him in America playing b-ball.
Yeah, and he's taller than 6'3".
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, for Chinese people, that's pretty fucking tall. And for those days, I'm pretty sure that's pretty fucking tall, because back in the day, people were tiny. Really tiny.
No, it wasn't just like tiny people. There was like giants. That's what we said. We're talking about giants, Kike. Why are we talking about midgets?
I'm just saying, because like they were like, they were smaller genetically. Think about it. Go back in time, and genetically, people were smaller.
Let's try to focus on giants. You dumb son of a bitch.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Anyways, in Easter Island, Kike, they have those big giant heads. Everybody's mysterious, and they're tall, and they're just sticking out. And then all throughout the island, Kike, 900 of them in total. And the head is 13 feet tall and weighs 14 tons. And they're all over. They're all black stone. They look like...
They have bodies, you know that, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, it gets crazier because they all have bodies. So that means they're even taller than 13 feet tall.
Yep.
Who put them there, and why are they so big? No one knows. Giants, there was the toys they played with. The little boy was burying the toys on the island, on the beach. The parents took him to the beach. They were playing. The little boy was playing with his toys, and he fucking buried them in the sand.
I think that was just erosion.
Yeah, anyway,
dig deeper.
I don't know what the fuck that means. Whatever.
Of course you don't, but it's okay.
Fuck you.
We'll find out together.
All right, whatever. One more. All right. And this comes all the way from our brothers in Nigeria, Kike.
I didn't know you have family over there.
Oh, we might. We haven't been down there. I bet you if we go over there, we'll find some motherfuckers that look just like us but darker.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, in a place called Cabri, over there by close by fucking the border of Cameroon. And shit.
Cameroon?
Cameroon. They have found Kike on some of the rocks near a creek. Giant footprints fossilized, and the footprints are 24 inches long. The foots.
Damn, that's almost as tall as you are.
Yeah. 24. That's like 2 feet. The foot. Imagine how tall a person is, and a foot's that big.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I just remembered. There's this one place in Africa where a lot of people are huge.
Is that a little village?
It's a little village, and the average size of the people there is 6 feet 2 inches. They're all tall as fuck.
Shit, that's crazy.
I just don't remember the name of the place, but it's there.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. The name's down there somewhere. I bet you. Yeah. That's insane. Do you think these people are descendants from the giants or Nephilim?
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Do you think they have really big dicks, Kike?
I mean, if everything's proportionate, yes.
That's fucking amazing, Kike.
I know.
We need to send some porn directors down there and take some really small blonde bitches with big asses. Let's see what they can come up with. You know what I'm saying?
Porn?
Yeah, they could do a real Black Panther parody. A real one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me make some phone calls. Shit.
All right,
there's a market for this.
Yeah. There is just a lot of motherfuckers. Anyways, Kike, do you believe in giants?
I already told you. Yeah, I have a brother that's pretty fucking tall. I have a cousin that's pretty tall, 6'2", 6'4". Another one.
You think you're from the lineage then, motherfucker?
I don't know. I mean, I'm the smallest guy in the family. I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah, you might be from the lineage. The shorter Mexican ones, the runts. Yeah. Your skin's almost red, it's darker than mine and shit.
I am Native American.
Yeah. You white motherfucker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember. Do we do fucking life advice on these?
No, we don't.
Oh yeah, we don't. All right, good, because it's the Midnight Podcast, and we probably been rambling on for too long. But don't remember.
You think people are gonna take it seriously on a life advice at this point? Like,
well, no, because you always give shitty life advice in the podcast, you dick. I told you you get something better. Then maybe some people will get like something out of it.
Hey, we're not doing the podcast.
Fuck you.
We're doing the Midnight Podcast.
All right, fine. We're done, and we'll catch you next month on the next Midnight Podcast.